Hey guys, my name is Evan. I'm a student at Full Sail University right now, and we're doing our week 3 assignment. Today I chose to do an educational video. I've always kind of wanted to do these as well, but never really had the courage to do them for some reason. But we're going to be doing a tutorial, very small tutorial, on Psytrance bass. All right, we're going to be going over your sub, the low end. We're going to be going over a mid layer and then a high pass layer as well. All right, let's get into it. Hi. Welcome to the tutorial for Psytrance bass. It's going to be a very crash course type of thing here. So we're going to go over our lows, our mids, and our high layers because there are layers to the bass. Unlike some other genres in EDM, it's not too much layers to the sub. This one there is. So right here, as you can see, I have my Serum VST here open to create my Psytrance bass. And we'll go over the shaping and design for that. Here we have the Psy sub. This is the mid and the high, as well as our kick. So with Psytrance, the kick is pretty prominent. Actually, in fact, the relation between your kick and your sub is the most important part in Psytrance. If the phases are off, the key, because there's kind of like a balance of key changes with it, right? It's going to sound like shit. So we go to kick. See that right there? Nice tail end for this bass. Nice clean bass right there. Or for the kick, sorry. Alright, so now we're going to go over creating or designing, if you will, our bass. So what I like to do is I like to just kind of get a 4/4 loop. I'm going to go ahead and draw this yellow line. The way you do that, you just hold, click and hold and drag. That's it. So let's get this loop going. All right, so I'm going to, the way I'm going to do this is reverse engineer it. So I'm going to show you like what I did, and yeah, so let's get into it. Here I have oscillator A, oscillator B, and sub. Here we're going to go with sine wave. We're going to drop it down an octave. Here it is, just regular octave. A little too much here in the high frequencies. And drop it down. A little better. Yeah, we're going to go with 1. So oscillator A, oscillator B, 2 regular saw waves here. We're going to pump the volume all the way up on both of those. We're going to take the random phase all the way down to 0 because we want that Psytrance to hit the same exact way every time. And this is where you can control where that phase starts. So here I'll give you a little example of what that sounds like with just oscillator A. With the phase. Down here sounds pretty good. But we're going to stick here for now. All right, so now the most important part about the design in your Psytrance bass is getting that click sound and getting it nice and clean. So what we do here is we get the low pass filter I like to do the 18, maybe 24 sometimes, just depends on like what kind of sound I want for that track. And so you can do it two different ways. I like to do an envelope filter instead of a low pass filter or a low frequency oscillator. Just because you have a little bit more control over the sound instead of having just one long drawn out note in a 4/4. You can have 4 individual ones, and like right here, instead of having them go all the way to the absolute value, I kind of cut it off a little bit before that gives it a nice clean sound. So let's go ahead and take these off. So we just bypassed the filter for both of these oscillators here. It's going to sound completely different now. Yeah. Apply the filters here. All right. So this envelope filter here is what gives it that sound. Let's go bypass filter cutoff. So you're gonna want this attack. See. You want that all the way down. You want that nice attack. The hold. All the way down. Decay and sustain about right around the same level. You really you need some of that low end tail coming out of that synth. And if you have the release up too much, well, I guess nothing really happens. But if you have too low, you can start to get this weird click. So you want a little bit of that tail end out. So what you do is that you create the envelope, shape the envelope filter, you drag this over to your cutoff filter here, apply it, and then make your changes. So this little guy here, the blue, so we are at, what, 68? So this will control the envelope filter, and this will control your actual cutoff. Here we go. Right there. So I take this envelope filter and I apply this to the sub as well. And actually these should be applied to the volume here. Put that down all the way to 0. Put this up. Same way here. I'm gonna leave that out actually. So you can still hear that kind of side chained low end there. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to show some effects I put on. I put a little bit of distortion on there. Phaser for some characteristic, and a compressor to get some more oomph out of it. Now that you have designed your side bass here, you're going to want to right click, bounce in place, which will then make this channel automatically and send the actual audio file of this here. Then after that, you can mute that because you don't need the actual VST anymore. And then you have your actual bass. So we're going to mute these just to give you a little idea of just the side bass with the kick. Now I'm going to show you the difference between this bounced in place audio file in comparison to the VST, because there is quite a drastic difference in sound quality. And we're gonna switch it up. Cleaner. So when we bounce in place, it's going to ask if you want to keep, or it's going to ask you if you want to bypass all of these effects channels here, which you're going to want to do. Because then you're just going to, you don't want to double down on the same exact plugins. So now that we have our sub, this is about the EQ that I go with. Depending, of course, every track is pretty much different unless you're like trying to make an album that sounds, the same across the board. Do a very low pass filter, 48 to 20 on 28 hertz. And we want that sub, we want the higher lows. We want those to be a little bit more prominent than our kick drum. But we want the sub in decibels to lay right under the kick drum, right? So you want that nice median of low end and mixing with your kick and your side bass. So I put a little +2 decibel right around here, 70 hertz. And here you can widen that or shrink. Right, so now go ahead and play it again. Now the most important part with your side bass, with your sub here, is you throw on a gain plugin and then switch the mono on. It's very, very important. If you don't, you'll get a very, very muddy mix. Sample with it off. Mono on. It's very subtle, but it's subtle but drastic at the same time. All right, so now that you have that down, then you can start working on your layers and your actual stereo spread with your bass. So what you do is take this exact same thing, you just boom, copy it, select these, Command C for copy, and then paste. Or you do, actually I like to do a Command R for repeat, which will just repeat these and then drag them down. Now that we have this track with these audio files, you're going to want to go into your EQ and you're going to want to take out all of that low end. So keep a bit of mid end, keep your high end in there. And then you're going to want to bypass your gain plugin with the mono so that it keeps a little bit of that stereo image there, right? So you got your mono bass right here, you got your mids right here, and we'll go ahead and take a look at this with just the mids. We'll add the sub. Take away the mids. Right? And then once again, you're gonna do the same process. You're gonna copy the track, copy the audio files, bring them over to the new track, like this, right here. Okay, and then you're going to go into your EQ and you're going to EQ most of your mid ends out. You're going to still need a little bit of those because it's going to be pretty difficult coming through the mix. So we will solo this guy out. Here's the kick with the highs. Oh yeah. This is the most important part about the high end is that you're going to want to fully stereo with this guy out. I use the S1 Imager from Waves Audio. It's excellent. I do recommend. I've been using Waves audio plugins for 10 plus years. So now that we have this high end here, let's go and play this. Take the imager off. See, it's a little bit more mono. Let's see what happens when we do put the mono on. Yeah, not very good. I want nice full bass, right? All right, mids and highs. Now we're gonna add sub. I hope you guys can hear the difference in here. It does look like this is being recorded in stereo, so. So now you got your sub right here in relation to your kick. You got a little bit of mid click right here, and then you have a bit of high end click right here. So now you have full range of bass and not a muddy mix. Pretty great, pretty easy. So if you guys are curious about, go ahead and stop that. If you guys are curious about these little triangles right here, so what I did, because this was one audio file, so what I did was I had to nudge it a little bit. You can tell right here. So what I did was selected all of these, go to region, and you do the fade in. The reason why I did this fade in was because of the click with the kick right here was clashing. So there was like almost a double, like a flam click, you know, for you drummers out there. So I did a 40 on the fade in, a tiny fade out, a good 10. Because sometimes, you know, with the side chain with sound coming up, that last click, especially if you end up dragging your notes all the way a full quarter, sometimes that end click right there can overlap your upcoming kick. Recommend doing that. Nice full bass. Hey you guys, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I will be doing a bit more of these tutorial videos. I had a blast doing this, even though it was for a class. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, so now I got my whole setup and able to stream from my PC or from my Mac to my PC. Let's go. Let's do a bunch of these tutorials. I'm stoked.